the team lists here. If you wanted to use, I used their last name, so just so it's formality. So yeah, let's just go to. Yeah, can you hear me? Welcome to 2023 early action Ultimate Wise here in Adelaide. This is round 4 of the Adelaide Draft League 15. And my name's Phil Shields. I'm joined in the commentary position by John Brill. How are you today, John?
I'm doing very well, Phil. A Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year to you, mate.
Thank you, mate. You too. And we're just in time for that first pool. We've got the West Beach Titans versus Southside Riptide. And we've got a slight breeze, as we normally do on this field, from right to left. We've got a fair bit of fast-paced action to start off with. We've got West Beach Titans in red. That's a bit of a huck by Sam Kayon. It's D'd there by Andy Baddocks, and almost got by Tallis Smits. So have you seen much of these matches?
I have seen a little bit, Phil, but not live as yet this season. I love the uniforms. I love what they've done, and the action has been hot tonight. Though bit of wind picking up. That should be interesting. Looks like West Beach are coming out in a match on the turn here. We've got Malhotra under from Lace. Finds Roberts working down that open side pretty easily at the moment. They need to get this mark on.
Yeah, and over the last few weeks, even though we've had similar sort of wind as we had tonight, and as we say, it just dies down a bit. And Andy Baddocks throws one into the end zone. Bit of a crowd going over. Did Rob Whiten get his hand on that one?
I think it might have been Davis coming in late there.
Big Davis.
But that's the thing tonight. I think a lot of these discs are going to sit up a little bit, so do not give up on any of them.
Exactly.
Finds Kayon through the middle.
Never give up. I think that's a life lesson there, mate.
I think so.
So Kayon, the main handler, swings to Davis, wants to give go, gets it back, grabs out one extended hand, puts it over the top. That'll float a little bit, and it goes over Smith's head. He didn't read that well. He needs his ABC book out again.
I don't think he even touched that one, unfortunately. He gave a little kick at the end over his head.
Yeah.
I think there's going to be a lot of opportunity to get the disc back tonight, but that's why I think when you do have the disc, it's very important to savour every possession.
Yeah, and I don't think that actually went out. So Smith's just with a misread of that one.
Edgeworth at the front of the stack. Looks under. It's got nothing going on.
Davis gets the block, but Edgeworth calls a foul. What do you think of that one?
If I'm honest, I was looking downfield, so I did not see it.
And there it goes, and straight away Edgeworth is unhappy with that. You can see. And uncontested.
Yeah, Davis is happy with that.
Puts foot out again, yeah. Wobbly start from Baddocks with his one of his first touches. Lace taking it back a few just to make sure of it.
Roberts getting a lot of the under here.
What do you think of the youngster Roberts?
I haven't seen a lot of him, but I have. Oh, and that one's popped up. Lozado takes it. Gives it early to Whiten. They're off and running here. Smits is there. Gives it back to Robert. He's not watching. Whiten, though, manages to find it.
Now the handlers catch up.
Now he's a bit crowded. Finds Tran in the backfield. Finds Kayon on the reset. And Tran's got it here. Oh, and he's looking deep. That might be at the back. Oh. I reckon that's... whoa, he's going to try for the
Who was there to cover it? Baddocks gets the 3 points.
He's
Fantasy.
Claiming it. I'm not sure if he jumped from within. He was out of bounds. So Baddocks to bring it in, and Davis is slow finding someone. They find Vish on Narayan on the break side here. He's going big. Here we go. Edgeworth has got plenty of time.
Will he read it? It'll drop short.
It will. This wind is tricky tonight.
What do you reckon of Edgeworth's injuries? If he was close to that disc, do you think he would have laid?
I have seen him lay since the injury. However, I just think the sheer impact of collarbone injuries. And the rib fractures and everything else, the confidence surely isn't there. I think that's half the thing.
Confidence factor, yeah.
With high disc, and that's a down.
And again, Ramadan didn't want to lay for that one either.
No.
It's a bit of a hard ground. We have had a bit of heat, so not as soft as it has been over the last couple of weeks. Remember, we missed out last week. Smith's on the ground, trying to get anticipated D, and that's just too far ahead of Lace.
So West Beach coming out on offense here. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that's now 3 turns each.
I haven't been keeping count.
I wish I had. But we've had 6 turns in this first 5 minutes.
It does feel like 3, definitely.
There's been some really good action. It's just been that last little bit of execution.
Again, just not wanting the disc is what I saw. Probably right on the line there, so that I might excuse Ramadan for not reaching out for that one.
It was a tight one. It was an open side throw though. Lace to bring it in. Looks like they've flipped the force.
Double team on Sang, but he's still free. Oh, it goes just raises over the head of Davis. He misses out on the 3 fantasy points. D.
Another coat of paint, as they say, and he would have had a fingernail on it.
Absolutely. Or maybe just an inch in the womb would have done it as well. He did get the tall genes in the Davis family.
He did. Southside really staying with this really junky zone. Just playing space. That's a great disc, though, from Lazada. Kayon finds Whiten. Sounds like they're firing. We've got Tran on the big swing. No one going for him. Great transition, though.
Yeah.
From Southside. Ramadan now stuck on the line. Or goes with the inside. That's a beautiful throw.
He does those very well.
No continuation, though. It looks like, oh, this one's going up. I think Baddix again.
Baddix for the last touch.
Tell you what, this first point for Baddix. He's got a lot of the disc on the defense.
Yeah, Narayan will be unhappy with that because he got first touch.
That's what they say, catch your Ds. Oh, and Ang Sang goes big. And Baddix is going to sit for him.
Ah. That's a solid catch, given that Smith rode his heels into the ground.
And that is a break for our first point of 2023 Adelaide Super League 15. That is, what was it, 7 minutes?
Let's have a look at that one again.
7 minutes plus. And that's just not putting the force on.
So Dang.
Everyone's a bit tired.
Doesn't mind a bit of a put. And you see Smith's right in the back of Baddix, but Baddix takes it anyway. He'll be happy with that grab. Now, we want to talk a bit more about peak performance tonight. Let's do it anyway.
Sure.
Because we're looking at having the leader of the gang, Sean Baker, here. He might be here another week, so stay tuned for that. How did you come across peak performance?
Yeah, so Peak Performance Centre is based in Port Adelaide, or just shy of Port Adelaide, and yeah, I was living just around the corner and working just around the corner. So for me, it was a no-brainer. When I first met head coach Sean Baker through what he was doing there, he was with the Adelaide Crows as one of their strength and conditioning coaches, and has since kind of moved on and done lots of other things. So it would have been, as you said, fantastic to have him on for special comments. There is a small possibility he will make it tonight, but potentially another week before this league finishes. It is, yeah, as I said, based in Port Adelaide. There's a few of the Outbreak players that are connected in with it tonight, a few that are on the field right now. So looking at this lineup here for Southside, we've got Froud, as well as Lace, as well as Ang Sang, who have all worked out there or done some sort of session there through Peak Performance.
Nice. Baddix with a pull. Inside backhand. And will just float out over that far sideline.
So the wind that is here is moving kind of right to left on your screen. It is mild at times.
It picks up, it goes. Sometimes it gets a little bit swirly, but predominantly right to left. Maybe a little bit low to high as you view it at home. By the way, thank you for joining in. If you're watching as a live stream, you can also watch it later on if you want. They're all there on YouTube under ULTI.TV. Thank you also to ULTI.TV for this live cast as well.
Notice how Southside are letting them go low side. Yeah, I do not want them to come back towards the camera. Oh, throws it behind Swart, but Swart manages to pick it up. Again.
If they do come towards the camera, that will sit up more than likely. We've seen that happen in the first point as well.
Looks like they're finding match now.
Sean Lay standing off a little bit on the defensive mark just to stop any huck. Oh, the line beats everyone there. So we're counting the turns again for this second point. That's the first turn, I believe.
I think so.
As a generalisation, we have seen the left-hand side of the screen be the main scoring end. If you get two breaks going left to right as you're viewing it, then you are sitting high and comfortable as far as potential win goes.
Big swing by Lace. Finds Ang Sang on the break side. Wants to find through the middle. Busy, busy, busy. Finds the around now. Lace hasn't got much to throw to. So resets his still count. He'll probably have to reset to Lace again.
Yeah, forcing them back a little bit.
No,
nice low throw. Handler's working it well.
Finds Narayan now with a great cut. He hasn't got much coming under now. There's been a poach.
Froud puts his life on the line.
Roberts finds it. And he's been called down. It was a close one.
I don't know if we get to see this on a replay here. Let's have a look.
I don't know if he got his hand underneath it as it hit the ground or just before it hit the ground.
You can see here, Froud goes to ground, but then, oh, that is so close, isn't it?
It appears like it's contested anyway, so it's going to return to the thrower. There's discussion whether or not there was a sound as he caught it. But it's hard to know if he stopped rotation beforehand. So we'll come back to Narayan, and we've got Ansen coming under who takes his eyes off the disc and wanted to do something with it before he picked it up.
He sold it before he bought it.
That's it. Gives the disc back now to West Beach. They need to put this one in. I know it's only early, but I think their offense has been shaky at best. Finds Ramadan. He's got a swing on Whiten. But again, Southside really wanting them to throw there. Goes big. Tran will not read it. And Narayan, as I said before, got to catch your Ds, and he did.
Tran's contesting that. He reckons he got a hand on it just at the same time, in which case he would get it if it was uncontested. But as I say, Narayan thinks that he had it first. He had a very strong front position. And they definitely both came down with it. The question is only they will know the answer to, is who actually had it first. Each with their own different perspective. And it's okay to disagree at this level. It's a self-contested sport. That's the beauty of ultimate Frisbee. And hand signals say it's contested, so it goes back to the thrower, Ferdy Ramadan.
It did look like that disc kind of faded right at the end, which put Tran at a poorer position.
It was disadvantaged, yes.
It's maybe one of the funner things about playing this sport in general, is that when you throw the 175 gram of plastic in the air, that it can go literally anywhere at any time.
As Ramadan puts the flat ball up
Another
again.
one again.
That's going to float. There's going to be a crowd underneath it.
This time, Narayan. And there's a call again.
There's a bit of touch at the back. Touchy-feely stuff. Deng saying hello to Whiten. Let's see that again on the replay.
Looks like there's two hands in the back there.
Whiten pulls out quite early. He was moving backwards on the screen as I saw it into Deng. Let's watch that again. So you can see here, now Whiten's sort of moving backwards into Deng. Deng did put his hands up to cover himself, but not the full hand in the back as far as I could tell. What are your thoughts, John?
Yeah, there is potentially a little bit of foot contact as well. So Whiten potentially losing his feet, unable to jump at the disc. So he's got position there. So does Bryn, but it's hard to know. Was it his own teammate that came back and maybe knocked him off balance a little bit? Hard to know.
I think it's a fair call if it's going to go back to the thrower.
It appears so.
As far as it gets anyway, I probably would have given it to Blue, just based on what we see here. But I'd say it's always interesting because what we see and what you feel when you're actually in that tussle in the battle itself are two different things.
Absolutely. I think everyone, like every player, has a right to call that how they feel it occurs.
Absolutely.
And for each player, that might be a little bit different as well, depending on their experience level and depending on, what they think is fair. Push pass. Hello.
So Tran free as a bird.
Tran.
What's Andy Baddock's doing? He gets on the mark now, waves his hand about, Mad Hatter style.
Tran on the around. Goes on the inside, and again, we're bouncing off each other's chests.
Yeah, this time Canless not being able to take a safe mark. Oh,
We won.
that's
Roberts,
going
we're
long.
going big.
It's going to go left. It's going to go high.
Good read.
Ty gets that. Roberts doesn't get anywhere near it.
He wants to travel a little bit. He thinks he's in the end zone. That's okay. Finds his footing now. Finds Kayon on the under. On the around now, but that's going to pop up. It looks like Narayan's got the read on that one.
That's his third set of 3 points. And we're
well,
only
the first one that's actually counted, I think.
True. But we are still only 1 point into this tea party-like game. Back and forth, presents for everyone as far as turnovers go.
Call of some description. I think it might be a pick call. Just coming back in now. Finds a dump. We've got Baddocks in the back there. With no mark on. Ty now brings the mark. Finds Lace. Roberts wanted to go lateral for the score instead of coming under.
Yeah,
instead, they go for the swing. They find Sanderson in a very dangerous position. That's a hard one to defend. And there we go. There's a goal. Baddocks.
Yeah, I think Ramadan was on Baddocks as well. Let's have a look at that one again.
It's a great swing. It's a great break there from Angsang. And Sanderson here, like that is a very dangerous position. That's a hard place to defend. And no one was on Baddocks,
Yeah,
it appears.
I don't know who was on him, actually. Take that back. I don't think Ramadan was.
No. I will give it to him. He's the captain after all.
Sure.
So.
Play a captain's game. You've got to be on everyone all the time.
Always on the move? You can keep up to date with ULTI.TV on all of our social media channels. Like, follow, subscribe, share us with a friend, or send us a message just to say hey. Thank you for supporting us in our mission to grow Ultimate everywhere.
So Riptide get the first 2 points. They get the downwinder and the upwinder. Is that going to set the tone, do you think, John?
As I said, like halfway through that point, we really needed West Beach to come and just put that one in, just to settle any nerves.
True.
Now you need to dig yourself out of this hole. They need to put this one in. However, they're going upwind.
Yeah.
So that's going to make it very difficult.
And if Riptide get this third one in a row, I feel Titans are going to have to call a timeout to reevaluate.
Absolutely. As the wind picks up again, Baddocks looks appears it's going to bring the pull for Riptide. Landing on the low side, fielded by Davis. This time some safer hands as opposed to the first point, and the centre to Kayon. Through the inside, we're going down to the ground with Tran. Happy for those resets to go through.
Oh, Sanderson, old wily man, almost sneaks in for a three-pointer D of his own. Meanwhile, Smits finds himself all on his own. Trans out the back of the end zone. Lazada comes into the action. Kayon has to take quick reflexes there to grab that one out of the air in case there was a turnover. Does an inside break. Tran flow on.
And that looked a lot better.
Yeah, that was nice. So Tran to Smits in the end there. And I really like the way that they had that continuity. no one had it in the hand for more than 2 seconds, yet it was all settled play.
Absolutely. They could not find a stall count. And that's really difficult to defend when the point of attack keeps on changing like that. That is, and I think that's what the Titans really want to do. All right, maybe if Kaon's got the disc, maybe he can hold it for another extra couple seconds. But everybody else, Ramadan, your Wilson, Tran, you got your Whiten, all of those players, when they get that disc, they are bouncing that disc as quick as they can and moving it on. So Titans take their first point against Riptide's 2. And that was a good one to take. As you said, they probably would have called a timeout if they didn't get that one. But that zone, Southside zone, probably was really just there just to kind of take away any sort of real pool play by what it appeared like.
Yeah.
They were very happy to let them just bounce it through the middle then.
Yeah, they worked it up well. I have a feeling one of the key plays there was slight inside flick from Kaon. I think it went to Tran actually. And the continuation that led from there led to their goal. Who is this player without bright yellow shorts this week? That'd be Tim Davis. But he's got a bright yellow cap on, just so he can find himself. He tells me when he watches this game back later on, he will scrub through it and look for the bright yellow cap to make sure if he's on the line and watch those points only. True professional.
Now Hydra finding Edgeworth to the inside. Bounces it quickly to Baddix. Great swing through to Lace. Outside in Edge. It's going to trail over his head. Takes a good read.
Hotcha read that nicely.
Lands in his lap.
Probably one of the first one of those higher discs that I think a player has read properly into the hands. We saw Roberts before and we saw Smits before not able to read those as well. But Malhotra does find the disc in his hands, and they are doing nice, safe alligator catches. We'll see here. I think Malhotra again. Yep, there we go. 2 hands, one on either side of the plastic for the score.
Definitely helps. I think after the first 2 points where we saw, I lost count of how many turnovers. I think the first one might have had at least 6, if not more. Second one probably around the similar sort of number. We've had 2 no turnover holds.
Yeah, upwind more to the point, if we can call it upwind.
Yeah.
Also, just in the central commentary position here, we've got a bit of a swirly wind we can see around us and feel a little bit through the open windows we've got here. But other than that, now it's really going left to right at the moment, from what I feel.
It's probably more of a thrower's breeze. I think when it does get trapped on the other side of the field from the camera, there has been already a tendency for that disc to pop up. So it'd be interesting to see what Southside come out with here on defense. Will they run that same kind of junky zone just to take away any sort of pull play that the Titans might be running, or whether they actually want to lock it in, because they haven't really managed to do that yet.
That's a nice roller, allows them time to get set up on defense.
So that just landed in and then rolled out just before the front of the end zone, is that correct?
Probably about 5 to 10 metres in front of the end zone. Let's say 10 for argument's sake.
And as we said, it looks like Riptide has come out now on a match force. Ramadan gets away though.
High stall count.
Finds Tran on the release valve though.
Frake side. Dang, straight on that. A lot of work upfield for not much result. The handlers have to work it between themselves. Kaon gets in front of Dang again. Still looking for something. Nice, cool, collected heads. Tran with a play potentially to make here. Whiten coming in.
Coming in
That
very
was a strong
fast.
slap of the hand by Roberts, but no call.
And it appears like there's no call.
Let's have a look at that again. There we see it right there. We could sort of see and feel that from our position.
Great break there from Ang Seng.
Yeah, nice
Mount
reach.
Hotra finds Edgeworth. He's had one big one already, doesn't want this one. Hasn't got much, has a high release down the line.
Trademark high release from Edgeworth. Whiten found himself having a lazy day nap in the middle of the field for some reason. Looking at his shoelaces at the moment.
Maybe a bit of a flat tyre in the centre of the field.
Yeah, it could be.
Needs to pump that one up before they go again. There was some sort of collision, maybe a foul called. Just will stay with Lace on the sideline here. Looks like he's got 2 in the dump space. Looks like Edgeworth is going to clear out. Finds the Ryan now.
It's called a foul, have to stop play. Bit of movement by both people there, but probably just on the foul side. As Ty was moving on defence. Tries it again.
Froud not able to hold on to that one. Was coming out with some pace, especially in this wind. The around now from Kayon. Finds Ramadan. The inside break all day for Canlas. Dumps quick to Swart.
Swart with his first touch, I believe. Close to anyway.
Going with the dad backhand through to Whiten. Kayon's working very hard here. And there's a lot of movement happening for the Titans at the moment.
A lot of crowd in that front corner end zone.
Oh,
God, that's going to stay up.
That's a bit of a pie, but
it's going over the back.
And it looks like Whiten comes down with it. Just as they drew it up, as they say.
Yeah, I saw Roberts come over the top late. I thought he actually came down with it, but Whiten with a solid grab there.
Great grab under pressure. Kayon goes home with the points in the assist column.
Let's have a look at this one again. You can see here again, this is a fourth or fifth time we've seen this throw. It's sat up. It's gone over the heads of everyone out the front. We can see here Whiten coming at the back. Roberts coming through with a big leap, but Whiten comes down with it as Robert tries to avoid collision with Swart. It's good play from everyone in that situation. Could have ended up a little bit untidy, messy, possible with someone in an injury situation, but really good respect on the field between these players.
We refer to those ones as hospital balls.
Absolutely.
Because that one initially was for Tran going up the line. And those same throws are definitely not easy, especially being maybe a throw and a half from the end zone. That actually landed probably level with the stack in the end. That just goes to show the strength of this wind a little bit when it does pop up. But the Titans aren't complaining. They take their total to 2 against Riptide's 3. Riptide now coming off down offense.
So needless to say, the Titans going what we believe is downwind at the moment. We'll want to get this one to even the score up. Davis with pulling duties. Sits one up. I have a feeling that's going to just stay out of bounds on the full. And we brought in about a third of the way up the field, just a little under in the middle of the field. We call that a brick. For those new to Frisbee, our sport, looking for some sport to play this new year, New Year's resolution to get fit, to make some friends, to have some fun. Ultimate Frisbee is definitely the sport for you then.
Absolutely.
Ticks all 3 boxes in major ways. It is a non-contact sport, very friendly. Also at the higher levels, very competitive as well. At the lower levels, just a lot of good fun play. Sanderson starts off with the disc, swings near side to Baddocks, fakes one, pulls Swart on the defense away. So before we saw Riptide move it up, they had a bit of urgency about them, but now they're holding back. I'm wondering what's in their mindset to make them do that. We do have Titans using a bit of a zone defense as well, which could be a factor.
I believe this is the first zone that the Titans have put on this game.
And it is looking effective at the moment. But Froud going at the back there, asking for it. Can't see that on the screen just yet. Bit of give go, works up the line, which is nice. Down the sideline, needs to get to that. That's out anyway. No, not a long enough back foot. And he just, Roberts, could it just be inexperience? He held off attacking that disc. What do you think, John?
Tried to milk it a little bit too much, especially when you're losing ground there. I think you just got to get that disc.
Yeah, and Davis with jet burners on to make sure he get that D as well.
Oh, Lozada gives Narayan a haircut almost with the disc. Oh, and puts it on his head.
On a dive
to Ramadan, but it's not in. We're not in. We're still playing. Hardest throw in the game, and he makes it look easy to canvas for the score. That's the break. That's the break they were wanting.
Yeah, evens up it again, 3 apiece. Let's talk peak performance again if we can, John. So peak, P-E-A-Q, not P-E-A-K, and it stands for personalised, evidence-based, applied, and also qualified. Have you heard that before?
I have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So evidence-based, that really interests me, evidence-based. What sets that apart from other training?
Yeah, so it's interesting you say, like, what is evidence-based? I think there is a lot of, there's a lot to say in this day and age where there are platforms for everyone in terms of social media, in terms of the internet. People can go in there, they can write a blog. And because I say something is true, it must be true. Or maybe I've seen it once, it must work for the majority.
Are you telling me that everything I see on the internet might not be actually true?
Potentially,
okay.
Potentially. I know it's a bit scary, but when we use the term evidence-based, we are looking at lots of different types of studies, lots of different areas of study where they have looked at cause and effect of certain interventions. And so in this case and scenario, we're talking about strength and conditioning, so gym, trying to get stronger, trying to get fitter, etc., etc. They look at those interventions and go, all right, so when we dose this amount in this certain population, it seems to have this sort of outcome, it seems to have this sort of effect, and so therefore we should be doing more of that intervention because that seems to be what works. And like on the other side of the coin, maybe that doesn't work as well, or maybe that isn't as true.
So when we talk evidence-based, we're really talking about sports science and what's been found out in the literature and in the sports science labs.
Correct, yeah, and there's a whole lot been going on.
So we come back to this point.
It's like it lands in. Does it roll out? It does. It rolls out of the sideline, which means he can bring it to the front cone, but he's trapped on that low side, and he's just undershot him a little bit. Now this should be a bit of a walk-in. Although I say that,
Red
we'll
zone.
see.
Yes, Ando, yes, Ando!
First in inches. Over the top to
We're going
White.
with a scuba. Beautiful
One play,
club
one
choice.
throw for the score. Well, Titans have now gathered the lead after being, were they up to 3 down at one point? Just 2 down. So this is an interesting turn of events at the moment. Let's get back to this evidence-based stuff. So Sean Baker's been in the game for a little while. Do you know how long at all?
No, I couldn't tell you how long. He's probably in his early 30s to mid-30s.
But he's had some skin in the game
He
at
has.
professional level, and he's also been a bit of an athlete himself. Is that correct? Or some of the people in their cohort, I believe, have performed at top level, not necessarily Australia, but definitely up there as well.
No, definitely, yeah.
Now, applied. What does applied mean to you?
Applied can mean like a number of different things. I think mostly in this situation, it is applied in terms of different people will need different stimulus. They'll need different entry points, and I think Peak do a fantastic job. Their whole motto, I'm not sure if you have caught that, but it's closing the gap between. What is it? It's closing the gap between...
Let's work together to close the gap between local and elite.
There you go, local and elite. I was going to say local and elite. in other words, yeah, just because elite train like they do doesn't mean that we can't as well at a local level.
I really like that actually, closing that gap between local and elite. I think it really sets Peak apart because it doesn't matter whether you're a Sunday brawler, as it were, on the field, whether a social player, what sport you come in at what level, then Peak have a solution for you that's individualised and tailored. Let's come back to this game now.
That zone is giving Southside a bit of trouble there. They were working their way through it fairly well. However, the big one goes up from Kayon, worried out of it. Tram bounces off his hands. He's not calling anything.
Yeah, he was worried about. I liked calling those the ghost Ds, the phantom Ds. You know someone's hot on your tail. They might even stick a hand out in front of you and not touch the disc. But it just does enough to get into your mind.
And you're wondering where the line is. How fast are they coming? Southside, though, with another opportunity. They're moving this disc fairly well, not letting the zone set. They found a few gaps in the previous effort before Narayan threw it away. And they are working their way down quite nicely. Find the inside gap here through Ang Sang.
Oh, Edgeworth with acres of room long.
Narayan through the middle.
A solid throw to Edgeworth would have found Ty wanting in that deep space. As Edgeworth comes back under, gets it anyway. Says a quick hello to a couple of red jerseys. Not happy about it as well, and nor should he be. I think he definitely got bacon sandwiched in between Ty and Kayon then.
May have got fouled 3 times there in the space of 1 second.
The song Pinball Wizard comes to mind when I saw that little play.
So they're holding this for a long time. It's going to sit. Sanderson not in.
Raffle it between themselves.
Oh.
In the end, Davis stands off for a second too long, thinking that the mark had it covered. At this level, you cannot assume that. As we watch that again, raffle it, choose whoever you want. Davis comes in, RCA, he's had 3 people. He really probably should have taken that far one. He'll learn from that one, though, especially when he watches his yellow hat replay. And we get Riptide evening it up again for all. Peak, now, they've learned a lot, as far as I can tell, over the last couple of years. We're in the early 2020, or beginning of 2023 now, but for the last couple of years, obviously, COVID's been a thing, and they've learned how to now do training online to help people. Have you had much experience there?
I haven't personally. Like, obviously through the pandemic, there was a long stint where the gym was closed, and so finding connection however you could was obviously a very important thing. And Peak, offered a lot of personalised and tailored virtual sessions, either through mobility or strength training. There were group forums that you could jump onto, and there were things that you could do in your own backyard with limited. Kind of equipment and that sort of thing in limited space. But the thing about Peak is that they're always cutting edge. They're always about the community first and foremost. And so I think, through the pandemic, that wasn't going to stop them. Would have been great to have Bakes here. Just a really personable guy and just really authentic. And I think he's done an amazing job with what he's doing.
Sounds like a recipe for success, authenticity. We have Ramadan with disc in hand, throwing a few fakes off.
Southside putting the zone on again, and they've pushed them right back to the end line here. And they've just cut it into it again with through Kayon.
Nice cheeky over to make up the yards that they lost. Canless to Lazada. On the run like that. Probably.
Don't need to slow down anymore. You've got 3 steps to throw.
Discussing the rule change. It used to be that you had to slow down Actually, before he had to slow down, it was you could take 3 steps. Then it went to you could slow down. Now we're back to 3 steps again. And Lazard just throws it behind Canless. And Baddox comes in with an easy 3-point fantasy D.
Baddox may have caught one in the face there, or potentially just
For his troubles.
Yeah, he'll live, I think, with the 3 points on the D. Big one coming through. Looks like Ramadan's going to take that one. That one didn't really get higher than head height. Maybe not thrown just quite with the same edge Sanderson wanted there. Smith has got not much going on here. Goes with the around break, though. That's fantastic to Tran.
Wind picks up a little bit at ground level.
Oh,
Kaon turns his
Kaon's
back.
going to turn it around. And Baddox again. It'll sit for him, and he'll walk away. Find his space. Find himself in the dump space.
See this here. It floats up. Misses
Plays
everyone.
with the inside. We've got Roberts.
What will Roberts do? Will he give it
got
back
much
to the
downfield.
dump? He needs to use his feet, pivot. That's better. I thought Baddox did well to get away, make some space for Roberts with that throw, but just not enough. Kaon doing enough on defense just to make sure he was in the way.
Definitely some good defense there. I think Southside maybe just, didn't quite get to that dump space as quick as they could. The positioning was probably a little off. Ramadan turns everyone inside out. Finds the under now through Smits. He's in. He's got time for Whiten. That's going to fade over his shoulder. Is he in? He is.
Titans up by 1.
Titans.
How good are these uniforms by Double Happiness?
They look fantastic. Sponsored by our friends at Peak Performance Centre. Rob Whiten, the man who caught that last goal. I think that might be his second, maybe potentially second goal of this game. Was also a member of Peak Performance for a little while, living in the local area.
Obviously shows then, scoring a couple of nice goals.
Naturally athletic though, Whiten. I heard a rumour maybe a few months ago now where he was invited to do a half marathon with his wife's family, and with let's say no intentional training, managed to complete it fairly comfortably.
Nice.
I don't exactly know what his time was, but he is a menace out here trying to chase him around. If you are the defender, which seems to be Roberts at the moment, chasing him around, doing a fairly admirable job.
Yeah, I think just from memory, Whiten's probably won 2 out of 3 battles that I can remember, and Roberts getting that D right-hand side near in the end zone.
Half the time being on the defensive end, though, you just want to be present. You just want to be around.
Yeah.
If you can be around, they might holster a throw. They might take their option B. That's how you build the pressure as a team.
And speaking as an old man, that I do find that if you can just be in the vicinity, you give the thrower a second thought about whether it's a viable option or not.
That's exactly it. And with players like Whiten, they are incredibly explosive. Another one that springs to mind is Schrader. When they're out in the field, they're always that release valve. So if you can be close enough where the thrower doesn't think that they can throw them open enough, they might look at their dump. They might not be able to hit that dump. The pressure does increase. Easier said than done. Looks like the Titans are coming out though in another junky, maybe it's just a pommy zone.
Looks pommy-ish to me, yeah.
So they come high side to Sanderson, who immediately crosses field with a hammer. Can't find him through the middle. Baddox pops one over to Lace. Back where we started with Sanderson. He's going to go hammer again. Oh, he's going to go overhead, this time to Lace. Now to Baddox. Gives it through the middle. Lots of open throws here. Maybe they're letting them come low side. Very tight carp.
Sanderson's hanging back here. I would have liked to have seen him just push up a little bit to make some on that.
And now there's a big hole through the middle. Roberts is free. Narayan, unfortunately, the cup was flashing through. Now we're going overhead again to Sanderson. Safe hands from Lace. Edgeworth can play catch with Lace. No, he can't. Davis takes it away.
Sanderson making this breeze look non-existent.
A squeeze through the middle. They've tried that a few times through this zone now. They look really good until that squeeze. And it just doesn't quite work for them. No mark here for Ramadan. He's going to find Tran. He's got nothing going for him. Looks like Bryn's making a move now, but he's 1 on 3. And he's going to come down with it. He's not in, though. He might want to find a dump. He does.
Yeah, a bit of power dump to Swart. And a little bit of laughter here as the Scott Swart special goes up.
And this could be...
Nice weight on that disc now. Roberts can go with Edgeworth. Edgeworth with another couple of steps. Oh, taken out. And that's Swart in there. That's not happy at all. We don't like to see that at all. He does give him a pat, but I don't know if that actually really makes up for it. It's almost hip and shoulder stuff. Never nice to see that stuff on the field, but good to see that Roberts is okay as far as I can tell from here.
Looks like he's giving the thumbs up, catching his breath a little. I don't think any heads were involved, however.
I think Swart did pull out as much as he could at the end there.
Froud takes the goal from Baddix. And with that play before, it almost looked like Edgeworth hesitated, and unfortunately Roberts then hesitated, which gave time for Swart to come through and clean him up.
Yeah.
Great rip, though, from Ty on that play before.
See it here.
Would have liked to see the Titans actually hustle down and support him a little bit more. He had probably 5 or 6 on the stall count before he found his dump. Had nothing going for him. But Riptide do take that point with a nice bladey over the top. Froud had to turn inside out, but safe hands.
Kept his eye on the disc. He didn't turn his back at all and then try and refocus on it, which I really like. It's a trap for young players out there. Always try and face towards the disc. Keep your eye on it. If you have to turn yourself around with your back to the disc and then try and find it again, it is so much harder to give yourself time to react if needed. So he kept his eye on that disc all the way. Very good, good play. Safe hands from the youngster, Froud.
Back on serve, I believe.
So this is a really, really interesting game. From the beginning, it looked as though Riptide might be able to get a couple of early breaks. But to their credit, West Beach Titans have evened things up and, in fact, been ahead by 1 point a couple of times in the last leg of this first half.
It's probably worth noting the emissions for Riptide tonight. So Titans are full strength, correct me if I'm wrong. I believe they've got all of their players. If they do, they've at least got their marquee players as well as a few of their higher draft picks. However, Riptide are missing their marquee Eichner. They're missing their first pick, Warren White, and as well as Ryan Smith. So some really key outs for Riptide tonight. However, they came out strong, didn't they?
They did.
But they're holding their own. Narayan with a great pull. It's going to land in the centre field. They're going to get some gain off this, though. Safe hands from Davis. Through Kayon. Classic initiation through Ramadan. He wants the big one, wants the inside. Doesn't want it. Kayon goes around. They play catch. We're going high.
Edgeworth not in the mix there. Let's try and come down with it.
And that was for Davis, but he didn't know it was. Froud now stuck in the middle of the field. Does find Narayan now. Finds he around. Safe. One hand grab. Low one hand grab by Froud. Pumps to nobody. Finds Narayan on the around. We're going to go inside around again through Lace. And he's going to find for Froud again. Oh! And maybe just the edge that kept on giving, unfortunately, for Rout. He could have bookends.
Now that was coming around his back. Let's have a look at this one again. Lozada actually peeled off of Frau to try and get that intercept.
I wouldn't have remembered it if it only just happened, but literally the throw that he just caught in the end zone was very similar, but a different edge over the other shoulder.
And with this one, the wind was pushing it away from him as well. That's a nice, thoughtful, thoughtful thinking by Tim Davis to move away from his defender. But as I say, put the commentator's curse on him and drops an easy sitter.
So kind of what I was saying before, when you take away that long one, when you take away what the cutters are doing downfield, it forces them to have to go somewhere else, to find a dump, to find something either backwards or lateral. I mean, that in that case, yeah, that one probably should have been an uncontested swing.
Yeah, there was nothing wrong with it.
But that shows the defense of downfield through Riptide. Throws over an edge work with a bit of the kick spike, laced with the assist. Riptide taking the lead with a break.
Okay, so this will be interesting. We are at round 4 here. We've got 3 round robins, each with 3 games in them, 4 teams in the competition, Adelaide Super League 15. Going back to round 1, we actually had Southside Riptide with a win over the West Beach Titans, 15-8. And I was wondering at the beginning of this game when we saw that 2-point lead by Riptide whether we might see something similar again. But it looks as though the script is going to change up for this game. Now, each of these teams only with 1 win and 2 losses versus our other 2 teams, Northern Flyers and East Adelaide Force, who both have 2 wins and 1 loss. So one of these teams is going away tonight knowing that they're definitely going to be at the bottom of the ladder with only 1 win. The other team is going to know they're going to be sitting in the middle of the ladder somewhere. And stay tuned for our next game tonight. So if you've just tuned in and you found our channel on ULTI.TV, you've been missing your ultimate action, and it's maybe in your part of the world. We're just closing out the 1st of January in our part of the world here in Adelaide, South Australia. We're looking at closing out the 2nd day of 2023. But we like our ultimate action here, so we're going to bring you 2 games tonight in this round 4. This first game, of course, Southside Riptide versus West Beach Titans. And then we're going to have the Northern Flyers versus East Adelaide Force. So stay with us after this game. We've got plenty of this game to go, though. It's not going anywhere soon. We're still a point or 2 away from half-time.
It's like pretty early days, as you said. There's been a lot that's happened. There's been a 2-point break and then a 3-point swing, and we're kind of back on cert, but then another break. That
Upwinders, downwinders.
Hot try. Yeah, it's kind of been a mix of everything.
It has been a story to tell, yeah.
Kayon with the centre now to Canlas.
Yeah, Canlas taking up handler duties. I find that interesting.
Moves it quickly. Big around through Kayon.
Swartz free. Looking into the sun, might not have seen him.
Finds Ty underneath through Ramadan.
Whiten going.
Looks like he wants to go big to Whiten. Looks him off. Roberts in the vicinity again. That's the way to do it. Kayon here with a nice little cheeky inside. Ramadan going deep. Now coming under. Too deep for Tran. Tran wanted that inside look, but there was no one there. Had to flip it around. Beautiful edge there. Sat for them in the wind. Throws a Ty. They let him throw down to the low side here.
Bit caught upfield. Didn't affect that throw. Will it go back? I'm not too sure. They'll discuss it amongst themselves and work this one out. Was called about 1.5 seconds before the throw came. Stays in the hands of Kayon. And dang, unfortunate not to get that D. Turned around last moment, put his hand out in the air, but Whiten had the easy read and easy catch and easy assist in the end.
Tran had a few of those exact throws earlier in that point and looked them off each time. And I think just the timing for the Titans, just either a touch early, generally, or potentially their cuts weren't coming at all. So a lot of work in the backfield there for Kayon to have to jostle and to get free. Credit again to Riptide's downfield. So it's interesting, like, so round 1, the Titans went down, is that correct? 8-15.
Yes.
So 8-15, you're not really in the game, unfortunately. I don't exactly know how the points came about, whether it was a second half overhaul or whether they just didn't rock up to play. But I believe Tran, the first pick of this team, was not available for that game, and potentially Kayon as well.
We're missing a lot of people in that first week.
Were.
Yeah.
I think they were actually savage, if my memory serves. It
I
was
think you
it
could be
was
right.
last year, so it
A
was
long way-
it was a long
way
time
back,
ago.
yeah.
Riptide, however, kind of flipping the script tonight, not having a few of their key personnel and hanging tough here. Sixers at the moment with a break up. So receiving now to come down on offense.
With any luck, we'll see Galaxy point here. 7 apiece, looking to one team to take half, 8-7.
Baddox with the field, finding Lace at the reverse brick.
The sun's
Goes
going to come.
laterally.
Sun's becoming a bit of a factor, I feel, at the moment. As it gets lower.
Lace had Sanderson going, didn't want him. Froud with the dump. Finds Sanderson underneath. Lots of poaching happening from Red.
Yeah, in particular
On the
Scott
Titans.
Swart, I think, doing a bit of underwork.
Baddox throws it around Lace, and he is the master at that continuation break backhand. To Edgeworth, finds Sanderson, wants to move the disc quickly, goes through the middle. And that's, a huge defense, a huge layup block from Smits.
And it's something we have become accustomed to from Smits, is those big lays. A lot of the time, uneventful. This time comes up with the points in hand.
Did not want his feet, so he left him. Went out and got that D. Again, Kayon is on this sideline. We're going to throw him around, and Ramadan takes it center of the field. And sticky disc maybe. Throws it into the dirt.
Red zone short field for Blue.
This is a hold opportunity. They probably want to put this one in. It looks like a pick is going to be called. That was cutting out of a very messy position on the field from their own. One for you, one for me, it appears. Baddox, I think, throws that one, or didn't want to throw that one, and has instead just placed it gently on the floor in front of him.
Oh, I missed that. Did that just come out of his hand? Or did
I think
Lazada
he-
get the D?
I don't think Lazada touched it, but I may be wrong there. Titans with a bit of movement now. Now we're stuck. We'll go Whiten through the break side. He doesn't want it deep. There's a poach. Finds Ramadan on the swing, on the open.
That's a nice
Throws
disc.
Swart open.
What will Scott Swart do? He'll put it up. And finds Whiten. Redemption.
I mean, when he caught it, the whole sideline knew what was coming.
Yeah,
And I even think Whiten was laughing
he was.
before he caught it. If we've got the replay there, I would love to see Whiten's face.
Oh, there's definitely a big smile on his face. And I don't think it's because he was in space going to catch it. I think it's because he knew who the thrower was.
Definitely had a lot of space and went, here we go. My time to shine. Can't zoom in on his face at all, but
Get the
great
magnifying
read.
glass out.
Great
Yeah.
focus to finish that play off. But I think it was Ramadan's really great around that kind of setup,
Yeah,
that
it was
opportunity
that
for
cross-field
Swart.
vision from Ramadan, actually, absolutely. As we see the moon out again. So yes, our next game tonight is the Northern Flyers versus East Adelaide Force. And in their last meeting in round 1, the East Adelaide Force won that event 13-9.
It's always interesting over these Super Leagues to see the development of each team. Round 1 is often a group of 11 players that may or may not have played a lot with each other, or maybe there's a subgroup of that 11 that have. Generally, it's the captain picking people that they know, that they have some already chemistry with. But it's always interesting to see how things develop over the league.
Absolutely, and as a bit of continuity, we also have in our draft pick what's called marquee players. They are players that have been with the team in previous years, just to sort of like keep a bit of flavour, I guess, to the team, consistency, coherency, so that they're not just a brand new team season to season.
Tim Davis seems to have fixed that edge, and the distance landing in the back of the end zone. Sanderson through lace. Got a bit of time here. We're a bit slow. Looks like Narayan is missing.
Roberts is free.
Doesn't want Roberts underneath. Lace. Finds Narayan underneath. Plays catch. Finds the inside. Narayan with the continuation through Roberts. Just pops up. Looks like Titans now could take half here with a break opportunity. Davis to pick it up, finds Ramadan. Gives the next one to Tran. And we've got Whiten again, but it's going to fade over his head.
Ty couldn't get it. Ty had a legendary moment there, could have made something for his team. Again, just the misread because of the wind that's keeping the disc up. I think for my peace of mind, I'd like to see players address that in the halftime talk. And I love the attacking on the disc, mind you. But with this breeze, with this wind, it is going over people's heads. And you cannot win a game if you're going to constantly misread these throws and throw it away.
Malhotra under for Narayan. He's got a look here. Doesn't want it. Goes here around now to Baddocks. Baddocks loses some ground. Finding lace up the line. Ramadan hot on his heels. Goes the big one. Roberts is going to fade around to his back.
Let's go back. No, he doesn't.
Takes it high.
Enough from Tran to say, who's your mama, who's your daddy, and be in his face, and just let Roberts know that he is there watching him.
Tran had one of those earlier in the game. So I bet he feels a little bit better about dropping the one in a few points earlier. We don't know if he was in or not. It appears like he jumped from in.
Oh, he definitely had, even if he wasn't, he should have brought it down with him and checked his feet afterwards.
And that is what I like to call a pie.
It's coming back, and immediately
Whiten's gonna read it the best.
I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 players didn't read that disc. Whiten, the only one that did.
It's probably who Ramadan was looking for, let's be honest. Hardest throw in the game here from Whiten.
Well, I'd like to see that replay because I was watching Ramadan. As soon as he threw that, he took a step backwards, turned away from the play, did not like his disc at all. But as he comes to his team as captain now, he's actually happy with himself. As Lazada gets the score. Here we see, I don't get to see Ramadan's face, but we can see Whiten here.
Ramadan is right of screen, still walking back, I believe. Oh no, there he is there in the dump space. But that's half. Titans take half. After a bit of a crazy sort of up and down, what do we got? Hour or so.
63
Some
minutes
long
into the game.
points.
Yeah. So we'll be back after this break with some highlights. Stay with us, stay tuned. Grab yourself a lunch, dinner or breakfast wherever you are in the world. And stay tuned for at least another hour to 2 hours of ultimate action for you to bring in the new year 2023. And we're back. Second half is round 4, game 1. Southside Riptide versus West Beach Titans. Earlier in the season, we had Southside Riptide winning against the Titans. Now a fortune of reversal has occurred here. The first half, a very interesting story. Southside Riptide getting the first couple of points. West Beach Titans fighting back to take first half 8-6. And now Riptide looking to score their first point in this half to bring it back to a difference of 1. We need to repaint those lines, don't we, John?
They look a bit faded. I feel like Narayan's toe was down. Bit of conversation here whether or not his toe was actually
So
on the
got
ground.
the replay
Looks like he
here
tried
again.
to toe it.
So he's caught it and his foot looked down and then it raised in the air from what I can see here.
Can we look at the video?
It is hard to see the line.
And it's
And that's
catch, foot down, and then it comes up. Mr. Baddock's coming in to say hello. We watch it again, and boom, foot looks down. I think Taylor Smith's in red is saying he thought it was down. Retracted out call.
Narayan throws lace going up line.
Jump catch score. It's the way to do it.
That was a tight one. That was a close one. On the replay that we looked at a few times,
Watch
it
this
did
one
look like his
as
toe
lace
was
goes up.
down.
That was a close one. Actually, I'd like a bigger screen to watch that one actually on the replay. I'll give Lace the benefit of the doubt that both his feet were up when he caught that. But again, you can look at it at home. Write in the comments section what you thought of those last two plays. The one where Narayan towed the line, the one where Lace did a jump catch score. Getting on the action. If you are watching this, please let your friends know. Share a link on social media. And subscribe. Hit that subscribe button. ULTI.TV. Facebook, Twitter, Insta, YouTube.
Lots of great content coming out of these amazing fellas. Privileged to be able to sit on the broadcast team here tonight.
Of course, it's being brought to you free and live. I'm Phil Shields. With me is John Brill commentating this game. Adelaide, South Australia, Super League 15.
So the wind has seemed to die just a little bit. Coming out still in there, Poachy, Junk. Oh, we're going cross field with through Swart. He's going to find Ramadan, finds the inside through Swart. Swinging around now, the wind caught that one. And Canless, I think, was not able to receive. Goes big, and Sang will go up and get it. And looks like he's landing in. It's a goal. Riptide, get the turn. The thing the zone does is it makes you throw it more. They are smaller throws.
Is that what a zone does?
They are smaller throws, but in this wind, all it takes is one thrower, maybe not to put enough snap into that wrist or enough spin on that disc, and it's going to pop or it's going to die like that one did, and you get a chance. And Lace, as we all know, not afraid of the big one. Not afraid to gun. Especially when he's working downwind, which is, this wind has calmed a little bit. Still a bit of a thrower's breeze towards your left of screen. The end zone our Riptide are currently sitting in at the moment. What do you think, Phil? Do you reckon they'll come back with
This
another
is-
junk, or do you think it'll be more matchy? Where are they heading?
If round one was anything to go by, these teams prefer their match. They definitely prefer match. If they've been listening to the commentary and watching the games, they will have realised that and maybe think that a little bit of zone, like we saw before, it might not be such a bad thing. Maybe a transition in there as well.
Absolutely. A great disc that's rolled just away from Davis there. Finds the sideline, and that's where he'll come in on that low side. Wants to bounce it quickly. Sam gives it, Kayon gives it right back. Oh, now they're moving. Tran finds the inside look. Looks like an assassination on Kayon seems to be what they're playing at the moment. They're happy if Swart is getting that disc. And he has no mark. They find Ramadan.
That's isolation on Swart, if anything. Now the rest come into play.
Tran takes the around high. Goes big now. He's got Ramadan, who's got space, and nice read.
Safe hands. That was a good look, a good move from the Titans, I think, to do an ISO. Four-man ISO, handlers and Scott Swart, I believe, was what I saw. Moving up the field to about halfway, then everyone else coming in on the action, mixing it up a little to free up the end zone for a nice easy score from the handler position from Ramadan.
Something that the Titans do really well is, as we've already touched on this game, is they move the disc quickly. And even though Riptide were playing a bit of a loose zone, leaving a couple of players open, they were just finding those players, even if they weren't maybe in the best positions, but just continually resetting that stall count. It's so hard to play defense when the point of attack keeps on changing, like it did that point.
Now, 80-minute games, I believe. We've got 3.5 minutes left on the clock. So, it's quite tight at the moment, 9-8. How do you see this winding up? What's your crystal ball tell you?
There's not going to be a lot of points left, if I'm honest. These points have been long. They've been reasonably long on the line as well. Whether we've got some shorter lines or maybe just a few extra Christmas puddings sitting around on these players, it's going to come down, I think, to maybe a point. It could push to universe.
I think we've got 1 point regular time. That will probably finish.
I'd love to see Riptide take that.
That would definitely make it magic. Depending on when the time gets called, whether we'll actually have a universe point or whether we'll have an extra point added on.
Nothing going on downfield, so Lace has to go backwards to Sanderson, but gets the reset. Finds Roberts now downfield. They're working out of a hoe here, collapsing down to a vert. Throws him open. That's a great read from Lace. Jump catch from Froud. Finds Sanderson. Finds Roberts again with that release. Froud open under. Tran didn't want to go with him. Lace now making space. Foul called, potentially equipment maybe.
He looked at the disc.
He did.
Whether
there was some taco there or a bend.
Straight catch, just Davis putting his hand, I think, on top of his hand, but it shouldn't have bent it in any major way. As much as Tim Davis would like to say he's super strong, I don't think he's that strong.
It is only a piece of plastic after all.
Fairly solid piece of plastic. But you're right, plastic after all.
Now Ryan now gets Lace, who went for a little jog, comes back and then fires a long one. Is he going to land him out to his lap? It shall. That's nines. We have almost, what do we got? 1:15 left. Now
just enough time to get a pull in right on the time cap call mark. Finish the point and... Then we'll see. So I suspect a game to 11 is what we're after here at the moment. So whoever can score this next point will have an extra point buffer up their sleeve.
We'd love to see 3 more points. If they can get this pull up. I mean, they will. A couple of holds and then a universe would be very nice to start the year off. I think considering the first round where we've got 15-5, Riptide taking that over Titans, like this is a much better affair. This is a much closer battle here.
Definitely more accurately reflects the draft nature of this league. Both teams essentially at full complement as time gets called, so we will play this point out. One team will score, making it a 10-9 affair. Game to 11, meaning that the first team that then scores the 11th point within this game.
Obviously, the last point to 11 is probably the most crucial. However, I believe this one to be just as crucial here.
Absolutely.
Always a better feeling to go in going, oh, we don't actually need to get this next one. Play with a bit more looseness. Looks like the Titans are working around this very, very loose zone. Define through the middle again.
Hanging in the deep, which is giving them a lot of opportunity through the middle. Opts to go for it. That is an interesting choice. And Smith's on the ground again.
It's like a fader just out the back there, but Smith is going to give it all anyway.
Always
whether
does.
he's in or out. He might have been able to toe that one in. Ramadan with an interesting look.
Look, I like it because the fact that it was always going to go over Malhotra's head like it did. And Smith's always had the option of like just keeping Malhotra on the high side and then taking the grab. But I think it just pushed a bit too far deep into the back of the end zone.
For me, I just think they were working it so easily up the field. And then Seng on the other way. He's got Edgeworth with a lot of space, sits underneath it. Beautiful take. Roberts running through, finds a goal. And Riptide take that first crucial point, as we were talking about. Titans now need to respond. They're going to have to work a little bit upwind, as we've talked about. It's not completely upwind. Just enough, though, to make you have to put a bit of extra sauce on the disc. Typically with that, Edgeworth might want to throw a player open into the end zone. Roberts just decided just to run full steam and work out later whether or not he was in or out.
That's the way to do it, I think, to catch it first.
Full focus.
If it's so close that you're not sure, catch it first and then find your footing. If you know you're well out, then
so Titans now, like with that last point, very loose, very, very junky. Looks like an arrowhead, I think it was, coming through Riptide. Be interesting if they run something similar now. But they broke it open so easily. They went one side, went around the other, found through the middle. Just an interesting clever choice there from Ramadan. If you're going to blade, I think you probably want to hit either one of the outside thirds as opposed to the centre. Big pull here coming through Riptide now. Interesting to see what they come out. Looks like they're coming down a bit of a chase. And they are coming out into a junkie zone again. Now, Titans can work this through. They've just got to be patient. And that's an interesting one, but it's going to be pulled down by Ramadan. Playing catch.
Kaon, Ramadan, Kaon, Tran, Kaon, Ramadan, Kaon, Ramadan, Kaon, Tran.
That squeeze. That squeeze has been the one that's taken him away, and
very close to down.
Tran has thrown that into the ground.
Missed out Kaon in that, which I think that's the key thing. Just needed to go back to Kaon.
Hard to know from this angle. It looks like it's up to me, but it is one of those closey ones where Baddix has also called that from behind the plate. Oh no, he's got a good perspective on that. Whiten's probably got the best perspective, I would probably say, having a full hand or two underneath it.
It's always the trailing edge, though, which you're never too sure of.
Correct. Lots of perspectives on field. They're wanting to look at some replay here, but it's pretty much inconclusive, so it looks like it's going to be contested. And it's going to return to Tran.
I'd like to see it go from Tran's hands into Kaon's hands.
I'm surprised it didn't. There was about 8 throw catches. And it looks like it's going to now be a turnover. And tapped in by Whiten. So Riptide here with a chance to win the game. Will Baddix go for it all? He won't. Edgeworth with the break cut with a beautiful lateral from the front of stack here. He's going to throw Sang around, who wanted to do something with it again before he's caught it.
Yeah, and wind has just picked up a little bit.
Yeah,
It's got a bit breezy. Could have had a slight factor in that drop. That was a bit bladey.
Tim goes to ground to take that on his knees. A pick down field. Everyone can catch their breath. That was a bit manic there for the last 20 seconds or so.
Not the best throw from Kay on that one. He wanted to put the spin on it, but didn't quite come out of the hand perfectly.
But I think it's the wind. I think the wind is up, and they need to readjust now.
Andy Baddix getting vocal. I'm not too sure what the call was for that.
Ramadan to bring it in. Ground tap. Hasn't got much happening.
Baddix poaching the lane.
Ryan's going to be happy with that. And Ty, beautifully timed off the back of the stack there.
Here's an unknown
Once
quantity.
the around.
What will he do? There's that
And
unknown
his
quantity.
throw, Tran. We know what Lace wants. Will he go for it all?
Baddix is going long. I don't think.
He
Maybe back in the day, might have thrown it to Mr. Baddix. At the moment, solid handler. Position for Andy.
Lace now grabs the swing, finds Edgeworth, making a lot of great work under. And he's thrown Baddix open, who has to go to ground to get it. Wants to throw from the ground. Thinks better not to. This is a chance for the game. Looking at Lace now, and just does enough, does Ramadan.
Wow,
Maybe he gets a hand in there, it's hard to know.
I thought it was an arm chop personally, but Sean Lace, experienced, doesn't call anything, so he's obviously happy that he didn't have the disc and he didn't get chopped.
Ramadan now with the under, and he's got nothing going for him. Whether or not, I think the tired factor is where we're at. We've got the around now through Tran. Kaon is asking him to throw it somewhere else.
Now
and
Ramadan puts his body on the line. Leaves his captain's game for the last point or two.
Wants to throw Kaon open and does so successfully with a little bit backwards, but now we're on the open side and Kaon's going to learn from his mistakes.
No backup there from Red.
No.
They're all expecting Wilson Tran to do all the work for them.
Except a foul from Narayan. It's an interesting one because it's popped well above Wilson, Tran, well above his head. I don't know if he had a play on it.
I have a feeling if it was something to do with putting him off balance, I personally feel that this was within Wilson Tran's jumping range, even though it went over his head. See, just there. He does have a fair leap, even though on this replay it looks quite high. It looks like they're leaving that discussion and just letting the play stand.
It appears like Davis come over and potentially had the same thoughts that we did. That whilst there was a foul, the outcome of the play probably wouldn't have changed. So if he didn't foul Tran, I mean, yeah, as you said, Tran, definitely one of the more athletically gifted. But definitely high as it hit that little wind pocket again. So Kaon now with a couple of interesting looks into that back corner. We've got Roberts coming underneath. He's looking for that dump immediately. Finds Lace now. Not much going deep. Pick hole downfield. Fairly early stall count potentially, but they are in their end zone.
That's Froud leaving the stack and Canless calling that pick.
Riptide had the whole field to work with. Throws Baddix open backwards. That break is beautiful to Narayan. He wants the big one. Pumps it. Finding underneath now. Got the lefty backhand to break the mark on the inside to Froud. Froud now needs to find his dump. Throws it high in the sky and it's hit.
Sorry. Froud putting it too high for Baddix.
Titans now. One throw. Just short. I misspoke.
Knocking at the
Half a
door.
throw.
That was a wobbly one to Bryn Ty.
We call them wet fish. The wet fish gets sold.
Guess what?
It works.
And we've got Universe. Universe point. Winner takes all. Forget the rest of this game. It doesn't matter what happened. It doesn't matter if someone's up by 10 points and the other person came back, the other side came back by 10. It's all down to this last point. Leave it all on the field, I say. As
I
we're
agree.
11 minutes into over extra time.
In my experience, these are the points that you play this level for. Whilst you can get universe points at state league level, you can get universe points at social level. Playing at, well, Super League in Adelaide here as probably one of the highest levels in the open division, as well as at any sort of national level, which our Outbreak Ultimate Club attend. These are the points that you want to be called onto that line.
Absolutely.
It's an amazing experience, win or loss. Obviously, winning is better. Winning that last point.
We're so happy that we can bring you this first game of 2023 and bring you a universe point game. What better way to open up 2023 in the Ultimate community?
Absolutely. So it looks like for the Titans, it's like Ramadan's going to come down with the pool. We've got Whiten, Kayon, Tran, Ty, Smits, and Swart. Big defense with a wily old handler in there as well for a bit of support. Big pool coming.
Oh, I don't
the
think
wind will
come
take it.
Back? It will just
sit. We've got Sanderson taking the pool. It's going to send it to Lace. Got Baddix. Got coming out a horizontal stack.
Now that all happened in slow-mo. Not just the pull, but Red running down.
The run down as well. Maybe they didn't want to get hucked on. Even though the wind is up here at the moment, the pressure is high. Sanderson's thrown Baddix open. He wants to throw a big one.
Edgeworth,
Whiten's in the vicinity.
Edgeworth rises to the occasion.
And Riptide.
They pull away with a daily double. They've got 2 wins now over this Titans team. Titans sitting at the bottom on 1 win, 3 losses. Riptide put out their second win for the season. 2 wins, 2 losses. As we see that lovely catch by Alfie Edgeworth.
Even better spike, I might add.
Well, stay tuned, ladies and gentlemen. Stay tuned to ULTI.TV. Get yourself a hot drink wherever you are in the world. Maybe a cold one if you're here in Australia as well, with the weather warm as it is. My name is Phil Shields.
And I've been John Brill.
All this time. And it's been a pleasure bringing you this game. We'll catch you shortly.
Absolutely.
ULTI.TV.
Does the next one start? When does the next one?